Thank you, Sparkles. Tawny, what's up? Jen, what's up, everyone? Brooke, Sam coming to order food. Cool. Yeah, we're about to get started. Just giving it a couple minutes. Brooke.
Thank you, India. Thank you, terror. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, frailty. Thank you, consequence. Thank you, silence. The moment I let go of it was the moment I got more than I could handle. The moment I jumped off of it was the moment
Guys, welcome. Hope everyone's doing well today. Happy Monday to everyone. Just wanted to welcome everybody to the show. This is called Gratitude. We do this every Monday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. What the show is about is we pretty much just talk about things that people are grateful for, situations in people's lives that they're appreciative of. So that's what we do every week is we try to bring a positive light and just energy to the app and to a show and just really give people an opportunity to just talk about things that they're really appreciative of. So just wanted to give you guys just a quick quote that we're going to do every week. So this is going to be a show that we do every week and really just get into the flow of that. So this week's topic is lessons learned. And so it's just a great way to express and talk about things that we've learned in our life. Maybe it was a personal thing. Maybe it was something that we dealt with a family member. Maybe it was something we dealt with at our work, our job, or whatever the case may be, or friends. And so just to start this week off with a quote, to go with lessons learned, is sometimes in life, your situation will keep repeating itself until you learn your lesson. So let me just say that again. Sometimes in life, your situation will keep repeating itself until you learn your lesson. So it's just a great thing to talk about with someone because I think if we all take the opportunity to learn things in life and grow from that, it can make us better people, better boyfriends, better girlfriends, better husbands, wives, friends to people and things like that. So just a wonderful thing to just give people just something to think about and something to take away from just the stress of everyday life, especially on Monday when you're getting back out of the weekend and things like that. So like I said, I think everybody is gonna be able to take a wonderful lesson or opportunity from what we're sharing tonight and just really reflect on just the wonderful experiences that we can have. To kind of recap on the last show that we had, last week's topic that we had was random acts of kindness. We had a really good friend of mine, her name's Blair Woods. She was a guest. She shared a lot about just some situations in her life. She had a situation where she went to visit some friends over on the East Coast, and her being from the West Coast, and she had some friends help raise some money for a situation where someone maybe was not as fortunate. And so it was just something that, was just totally random and unplanned for. She had another situation where she was trying to get an Uber. She was trying to get back home, and a guy helped her that was a hotel doorsman or bell guy. And so he helped her be able to get home and get to the airport and get back in time. So, that was something that she wasn't even planning for, something that she wasn't even expecting to go the way that it did. And so that's a wonderful random act of kindness. And I think that we all can learn from that, whether it's, maybe we're in line at lunch somewhere or dinner and we pay for somebody's meal. Or maybe it's a situation where, someone does something for us. It's just a wonderful random act of kindness that we don't necessarily plan for in life, that at the end of the day just makes us feel so much better about ourselves and what we can do for others. And, at the end of the day, yeah, just end of the day, you just pay it forward, and it's just wonderful. So, but like I said, and that's something every week that we're going to try to do going forward, is we want to give you guys an opportunity to talk about the topics that we have every week. And so we're going to have an opportunity for people to do a reflection every week, the next week after. And we'll be able to do that tonight. And it might be something that you guys might want to share. Maybe there was something you guys want to drop in the comments that we can talk about, where someone had a random act of kindness for you. Maybe you did something for somebody else. And it gives, you guys a chance to really, be involved and talk about just briefly about, some things that happened, for you guys. So if you guys want to just drop that stuff in the chat, it gives you just a nice spotlight on things that, have happened. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. This is a wonderful show, wonderful thing that we're trying to do every week. I think that people can get a lot of information from it. I think we're going to continue to have great guests, great people, that you'll learn so many things about them that aren't necessarily from the app. It lets you see that people still have a real life, and people still have real families and real situations that they go with each and every single day. So it's a good thing for all of us to see people in a different light, to see people in a different focus, and to see that we all deal with things in different ways of our life that can make us, like I said, better people, better friends, better everything. So, like I said, if anybody wants to drop a comment about things that they've had as far as a random act of kindness or something like that, you're welcome to. We want to try to get everybody involved. We want to have just wonderful crowd participation and things like that. And so, like I said, we appreciate you guys being here. It's just such a wonderful opportunity to talk to people every single week and just share the awesome and wonderful things that we can do going forward. So at this time, we're going to introduce this week's topic. This week's topic is, lessons learned. And we're just going to try to talk about that. We have a wonderful guest on the show for tonight. Her name is Brooke Falls. She is a great person. She is a wonderful, talented musician. She is continuing to do great and wonderful things on the app, both on the app and off the app. So, you guys will have an opportunity to listen to some things that she's had happen in her life, some lessons that she's learned. And at this time, if you want to come up, Brooke, you can share what you want to share with us about some, lessons in your life that you learned. So if you want to come in this time, you can.
Righty. So,
Hey.
hey.
How are you, love?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great.
All right. So actually, it was really interesting when Blake just commented, Brooke, did you got in your car all right? I was like, yeah. So I'm gonna share real quick this lesson I just learned in real life.
Please do.
Yes. So make sure you guys double check before you lock your car. Have your keys. 1, 2, 3. You hold them in your hand. You say, "All right, I have my keys in my hand," and then you close your door. Because I left the keys in my car. I had to call AAA like literally 2 hours ago.
Oh my God.
I'm here. So we're all
good. Yeah, you are. So if you want to just take just a few minutes to introduce yourself, introduce what who you are as a person, what the app's meant to you, just to kind of give a little background to people that maybe aren't necessarily familiar with you.
For sure. So, hi guys, my name is Brooke Falls. If you don't know, I am a singer, streamer on this app. I do a variety of different genres of music, ranging from classical to pop, and a little bit in between. I also play ukulele and learning guitar and all that fun stuff. I have a single that just came out. It's called Blueberry Pie. You can check it out on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, all that
So
fun
so good.
things. And so yeah, so I've been a streamer on Meet Me since probably like around the 4th of July, and I have been loving it, loving it, loving it. So I like to go live. I've been doing night streams, but today I actually did like an afternoon stream. So I like to incorporate
Kind of
some.
switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, of course, of course. Um, but yeah, yeah. So I love streaming. I love doing music, and you know, just like things like that, and just exploring the world. Of course, when COVID is over, I love doing like concerts and performing out. I'm also in a wedding band, so I do a little bit of that as well.
Do you feel like you get a lot of joy in doing weddings as opposed to maybe just doing your own solo stuff and being a part of such an incredibly special day for so many different people?
Oh, for sure. I mean, having that, just sharing that moment, like you said, is just it's a really great experience to be like, you know, kind of like, I think people don't really recognize, but a wedding is pretty much nothing without the music. I mean, come on, we're pretty much like, we're there. We're the sound, we're the, you know, the whole
Everything, pretty
energy.
much. Yeah,
So it's awesome. It's a great feeling for
yeah.
sure.
Do you want to kind of just touch on maybe some things in your personal life that you've learned, maybe lessons, or do you want to talk maybe from a music standpoint or a little bit of both? Whatever you're comfortable with sharing, we'd love to hear and love to learn as much as we can about you. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
totally. So I'd say some lessons learned. Um, like we can all relate in personal life for sure when you have a friend that has been your friend for a decent amount of time. I'd
Mhm.
say, you know, like over a year, you know, you have 2, 3, 4, 5 years with them, right?
Right.
And it's like you're nearing that point where you're like, I feel like they're taking so much more from me than I'm like, you know, I'm putting in, and this person just keeps either like flaking or just, I don't know, being like just not playing like a role in that part of a friendship. So it was my friend. I had to kind of let go of a really long like friendship, and I was like, the lesson I learned within that sort of situation was kind of like communication is like key. I wasn't speaking up enough in like my side. I should have probably like voiced my opinions early on, saying like, hi, like I really don't like the way that you are handling this situation. Just say like, if I were to like want to hang out with you and you just don't reply at all, but you're posting on Snapchat, and I'm like,
Exactly.
you know, so that's the type of situation. I feel like even with social media, we have that problem of like someone doesn't reply, but then we go and we see that they like posted and we're like, ooh, all right, well, I guess I'm second to that. And I guess it's that also that kind of like we have to build that like internal like, oh well, if this is like a pattern, then yeah, we have to stop it. We have to talk about it. I feel uncomfortable, like you're never getting back to me, that kind of thing. Then that's kind of the issue that I had. I was like, there's just things that keep, you know, leading up to this moment of I think that I'm gonna have to end this friendship with you. And so that was really tough. It's hard to let go of someone that you've had for a long time. So I think that we can all like have that, you know, can relate to that.
Yeah, I think when we as people we put so much energy and effort into friendships and relationships and whatever kind of fashion that is, when we're not being met halfway or we feel like we're doing a lot more than that other person, I think that it's difficult a lot of times because I think sometimes in relationships, what you put in is what you get out.
Mhm.
If you don't put a lot of energy and effort into being a good friend or a good spouse or a good boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever the case may be, then you can't expect to get a lot out of that.
Mhm.
So that's a great lesson because when you put the energy and the time and the feelings and emotions into trying to get to know someone, and you just learn that that's just not there anymore. That's tough. That's tough for anybody. That's tough, for any person that values any kind of friendships with anybody. So
Right.
that's what I think.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, it was the way that I feel like I ended things was really, it's hard to like, I, I didn't really want to kind of like speak on the matter. I kind of like was very much like closed off. I don't want to talk about it. Like, let's just like let me like leave me alone kind of thing. And I feel like maybe going back, I probably would have maybe talked to her more about like how we can go about like overcoming the situation.
Mhm.
But you know, I think like we all have different paths in life. We all meet different people. We all have like, you know, it's just maybe it just wasn't like a relationship or friendship that was meant to work out, and that's okay too. So, you know.
Yeah, I think, and even just a simple aspect of a lesson learned within itself is to know that you probably could have spoken up. You
Mhm.
could have maybe handled that a little bit differently, and maybe not have felt like, man, I should have said this or I should have
Yeah.
said that, and really try to communicate with that person. But hey, this is how I feel about the friendship. This is how you make me feel, and then that way the communication level is completely wide open, and then that way everybody's kind of on the same page. It may not necessarily be the same outcome as being on the same page, but at least you express to that particular person that this is how I felt, this is what I wish would have been different. And that's like I said, that's the lesson learned within itself, is to try to be able to handle situations and circumstances maybe a little bit differently than how they really turned out.
You're right. Yeah, Sparkles is definitely right. We get in our feelings sometimes and don't communicate correctly. Yeah, that's
Sure.
what I say. Like I definitely was like, you know, a little caught up in like the situation in the moment. It's also like I didn't really know how to properly handle it. I think if we, you know, of course, like I think I need that open that conversation up, like, and just, you know, start to really open up how I was feeling, and definitely would have seen a total difference in probably how that would have, you know, turned out, because that could have definitely been something that I learned, you know, in that sort of scenario. But and then in music, so that's the topic. I feel like that was like my personal um within music, some lessons that I have learned. I was really young in all of this music business stuff. I
Mhm.
was around 11 when I was in the recording studio for the first time, and then I actually signed for like my first like manager at 12. So I
Wow.
was like really young. Yeah, it was like crazy. It was like my parents really getting me started young. But I was like in the process of recording an album. It was just the guy that my basically my parents had a big role in doing all of this. It was just word of mouth through a friend of my dad's work, and he was like, I have a friend that would like to your daughter sings, that's cool, have her feature on this album. And it was kind of like I was thrown into it as a kid, and that was like something, it feels like a blur of like, wow, this was kind of just, I kind of felt like I was just, you know, put into it. I really didn't have a say or a choice. It was kind of like, oh, you're definitely doing this album. And I felt like the weight of the like a weight on my shoulders, like to impress my parents, to impress this manager that was having me sing these like big songs that I was like totally not ready for. And I was in the studio and I was working like super long hour days, like 12-hour days. And fast forward to when I was like, I think I was 15. The album that I had been working on for 3 years, I was 12 to like 15, it finally came out. And like there was nothing that came about that. And a big lesson that I think anyone that is young in the music industry, if you guys are wanting to start up in the music industry, you're listening, um, make sure you watch out for who you sign with, who you work with,
What you get
because
involved in
you get involved with as a team, because they change you, they mold you into something that you might not be, and you're just, you know, in that trying to like become or trying to be someone. Of course you're not, for someone else, because it's benefiting them, or they think that it'll, you know, make them profit more, some sort of that situation, which I felt like that was happening to me too.
Yeah. Well, I
So
mean, when you originally went into that particular situation, I'm sure that you were looking at it as, what, really being that young, you're just looking at it as an opportunity. You're looking at it as exposure for you to kind of just get your feet wet, be in the music thing. You're hearing from, that we're going to work with a producer, or we're going to work with the management team, or we're going to work with this and that. And then, like you said, you start to see the harsh reality of the music industry. And I mean, it can be really brutal, especially at a kid at
yeah.
that young of an age. And it can even be that way for adults. I mean, because you get in situations where you got a lot of lawyers and suits involved, and you don't necessarily know the ins and outs of that stuff, and it can be really complicated at the end of the day. I mean, it looks pretty on paper, but
Yeah.
like I said, at the end of the day, you realize like, wow, we're getting kind of screwed here.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of the time, the biggest thing was that these managers, especially, like, I even had a situation with, like, a lot of the time, I would say, like, 90% of my Meet Me comments are, why don't you audition for The Voice? And it's like, oh, I understand. I understand why you want me to, but The Voice is kind of shady. I'm going to break the news to you guys. Like that, they use signed contracts, and they kind of, like, mold you into like, an artist through those contracts, through those NBC producers, to someone that you might not be, or the genres that you might not be comfortable singing. And that's something that we should probably talk about, because I think a lot of these times these people go on because they just want to do it because it's that extra step for them to be seen in front of a lot more people. It really is a great way to grow that platform quickly. But then you also are jeopardizing, unfortunately, that like the contracts and being with those producers. And so you definitely watch out for yourself as a performer in this industry. There's everybody wanting to tie you up in like you said, some sort of lawsuit.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Well, I mean, they're looking out for yourselves. They're not looking out for Brooke. They're not looking out for Brooke's family. They're not looking out for, they're looking to pay, their mortgage or their car note or their, whatever the case may be. So I was going to ask you, would you be in that particular situation, going from 12 to 15 and it being such a long period of time, that 3 years until the music was finally produced, when you were moving forward, how did that shape, your lesson or what you learned from that, as you got older, maybe 18, 19, 20, how did that shape, what your direction or perspective on what you want to do as far as like a business perspective from music? How did that shape, your vision?
So it's actually interesting that you bring that up. It's funny because I reached out to my old producer to try and see if I could get it taken off of iTunes, because I want to start coming out with my own stuff, like Blueberry Pie, all the things. I want to come out with more songs, and I'm like, I don't want to have something that I was like, I know some people find it cute. I don't want to have something when I was like 12 on iTunes with something that I'm 20 now. I think if I can
it doesn't represent where you're at. Yeah, it doesn't represent where you're at as an artist or as a musician, because as you grow as people and you grow as musicians, your stuff changes. What you necessarily were writing back then may not necessarily be a reflection of what you want to do today.
Of course.
And so, I could completely understand where you're coming from on that, because, as people and as artists or whatever the case may be, we want to grow.
Yeah.
And to move on is to grow. And so, that's, like you said, that's a great lesson learned, to try to move forward with that as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's really nice to, like, actually take time to look at your, like, situations in life in these ways. It makes me, like, even just reflect on my own self and think about it in different ways. So it's great to do this. This is awesome.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the best direction for you now, as far as where you want to go musically, or what you feel like you really want to have a representation of your style and your effort and what, lesson you want to present?
Yeah, so I would say that I really do like the way that, like, the new wave of artists are coming up through, like, Spotify playlists and things like that. I really do like, I understand, like, where new music is going. I like funky, more like R&B, lo-fi based music, and I would like to take it that way. I also can't wait for COVID to be over, and we could go back to festival life and
Exactly, all of us
performing, and I'm so excited to get back on stage, and that's going to be something I would love to to have, and once I can fill up enough songs to have an original set list, that's going to be something great for at least 2022 for sure.
Right. As kind of like I was mentioning earlier, as far as a business perspective from your music and career and things like that, what have you learned going forward, what you want to control, or what do you see the vision for that, as far as a lesson learned from back then to now?
Yeah, I would say
So,
that
yeah.
I would say I would like to stay independent for as long as I can, until I'd say until like a decent opportunity that I would say that I fully 110% am like, all right, these people are really, I don't feel uncomfortable about who I'm signing with. I actually think that this is a good opportunity for me. It will benefit me more than hurt me, and
Hmm.
things like that. I would like to keep it, all more like low scale with like people that are also up and coming as well. I think that that's really awesome to work with people that are on the rise and aren't, working with people that are already successful. It's one thing, but working with people that are like on that train to steadily like growing is really nice, because you have that momentum and you're also creating and you're molding into your own art together. It's awesome. So I'm the producer I'm working with right now is doing that as well. And I could see myself maybe hopefully looking to sign with a small label that he's on in the future, possibly. But for right now, I'm gonna stay independent, come out with songs, singles, and see where we can take it from there. Yeah.
And that's all you can do, is because you want to feel comfortable for you as a person, as a businesswoman, as a musician and an artist, where you have control of what you're putting out, and be able to continue to make the content that you want to make, and not necessarily have to owe it to somebody else, as far as from royalties or contracts and things like that. So yeah.
Exactly, for sure. I you're hitting the nail on the head. For yeah, exactly.
Is there any other comments as far as a music thing, or even more of a personal story that you like to share about some other lessons? Or
I guess like let me see. Yeah, I would say within personal lessons learned, I would say that like a big one for me is still like currently, like I guess happening, is kind of, I guess, setting myself away from like my parents' like views and values, and not um looking to seek their approval off of like every single thing I do.
right.
And I guess like meet me was a big one, is that they kind of don't understand it. They don't really get what I'm doing, and that's okay. I try to show them, but like for sure it's something different. They don't really, it's a lot for them. And I think like I had to let go of like seeking to find that, you know, them being like as excited as I was, like, guys, I got a top badge, them going like, know what that is, but good for you. So that little thing, I think it was a lesson that I had to like, it's okay, it's cool, they don't have to know, they don't have to really, like, they were like, I was the only child all my life, I was like online schooled, so that was big.
Hmm.
And they were like someone that they were both really like heavily involved in what I was doing musically, like kind of like they were like momager was really involved. And
Right.
so I think now they're totally letting go, because I'm doing my solo thing, I'm doing my whole own thing, I'm streaming, I'm doing music without them really being that involved. And so now I think that that's just a big thing, is just not seeking their approval. And kind of that goes for a lot of people, it goes for the rest of my family, it goes for friends. I think it's a big, big step into just really doing what I like.
I think it really is, because as we get older as people and as adults, we don't necessarily want to have the approval of our family. We just want them to respect and understand where we're at, and that we're trying to grow and evolve and learn every single day. I
Oh,
mean, they were in the same situations, back then when they were growing up. Maybe things were a little bit different. Maybe they didn't have, iPhones and Meet Me and things like that back then. But like the fact that luckily, if you come from a good family, you still have your family support you and love you and respect where you're at, even if they don't necessarily understand it, because
you're
they
right.
see that you're still trying to grow and learn and improve and be the best version of yourself. And that's a great lesson right there within itself, is that you don't necessarily have to seek their approval. You can continue to create your own path and be your own woman and your best version of yourself. And know that, if you continue to succeed and be successful at what you're doing, not just as a music standpoint, but as a person standpoint, then, your family will totally be behind that regardless.
I love Charles' comment, but yes, no, for sure, Jameson. I totally get you on that. Like that makes a lot of sense. I mean, they do support me, and like as long as as long as I'm doing my thing with growing and growing the audience and growing this like this awesome community is really it's really helpful as well. They definitely see it for sure. I know that it's a lot, but
Yes.
I think I think that they're definitely coming around to it. I'll hopefully one day I'll get my mom on a stream.
I actually had my mom on a stream one day. Blake was doing a karaoke show, and my mom jumped in the box and actually sang a little bit. So it was really crazy. It was really cool. She was kind of like your family. She didn't really understand the whole, the whole world and aspect of it. But the fact that she was still like, she knew that it was important to me. She knew it was a friend of mine's and it was his stream. I was like, Mom, just get up there and sing. It was just something that she, was just a part of, and it was just really fun. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yes, love it. I love that.
is there anything from meeting you that has been a lesson learned from you, whether it be positive, whether it be negative? Has it just been something in general that you've learned to maybe, apply to your stream, apply to your personality on here, apply to the circles you keep or friends? I mean, what's some lessons you've learned from this?
Oh yeah. Oh, good question. I know it is a good question. Well, I've learned. I would say I used to stream. I guess. Maybe I would feel. I feel like it takes a little bit to really get to know. At least for me, it took a little bit to get to know what is everything, like how everything works. Of course, there is a lot going on right when you get on. But after a while, I would say that some of the lessons that I have learned really is like who you let, like of course who you let as your bouncers. That's definitely a big one. It can be a real like it can. There was like an incident that I did have with a guy who was a bouncer, very sweet supporter, but who was very, very, very uncomfortably weird in someone else's broadcast, and that made them uncomfortable. Someone DM'd me about that because they saw him as a bouncer of mine and sent me screenshots, and so I had to like
Yeah.
unfortunately get rid of that person. But there's things like that where it's like they can be someone else in your stream, and they could probably be someone else to another person. If you don't get notified about it, then you'll never know. And so
Absolutely.
I had to. Those are lessons. Those are big ones. Is all about really getting to know people for who they are. Really, having to go in, check out other people's streams, and see who they are as a person, talk to them. But I would say I've had so many more positive experiences on this app. Like I love the growing like community, and it just feels like a family. It
Really,
feels
it,
really
it is. It feels that way because it is. Honestly, when
yeah,
you're
yeah.
you're with the right family and the right group of people. It's just like it says in my profile. You don't have to be blood to be family. I mean, there's people on here that I talk to more than my friends in everyday life, and they become family. They become really close people. They become, wonderful, just things in our life that make us reflect on us and what we value for friendships and relationships. And then you start thinking about stuff like playlists and things like that, where you actually get to meet these people that you are in interaction with every single day, and to see like, oh wow, this person I can actually like see them or hug them or like have a drink with, or let's all go to dinner or something like that. To me, that's a lesson learned, is like if you continue to be supportive of the right people and the right people continue to support you, then you can continue to grow on here. You can grow as a streamer, you can grow as a person, and realize that, this is an app and things like that, but you can still apply a lot of the positive things to your own life that, hey, if you put this energy and effort into a friendship or relationship, then you're going to get that out, as well. So
Exactly,
I
for
think
sure.
that's a lot of stuff that I've learned too, is like you
Yeah.
said, just the right circles, the right people, and it's just good to stay positive that way. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of different things on this app that I may not necessarily completely understand. But you try to learn what you can every single day and surround yourself with the right company of people.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's great. It's great once you find the good ones, and there's a lot of good ones. And I think it's like it's so crazy to we'll know all these people and all these different states, all these different countries, and it's wonderful. It's crazy. You know, if you ever want to go to the UK, you'll have some UK friends to go
Yes,
visit.
absolutely. I think
Yeah.
it's amazing. I think it's amazing too, for me
Oh, it's glitching
especially.
out a little bit.
Yeah, for a lesson is just this the value you can put on people's relationships, really, and this the people that you meet. I think it's just a great platform to just learn so much about people and yourself. I
Yeah.
don't know if you feel similar to that or
Oh, I totally 1000%. I totally feel the same way.
yeah.
Yes. Great.
Well, well, thank you so much for taking the time to share so many wonderful different things about you guys. If you don't already have this amazing person favorited, please check her out anytime. She streams a lot. She puts out some amazing music. Blueberry Pie, it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on a lot of different other things. So if you get a chance, please favor her. Please check her out. If you have anything you want to say in closing, Brooke.
That's basically it. I'll be live pretty much every time this week past 8. So check me out if you want to. Thank you guys so much. This is awesome. Thank you, Jamison.
Thank you. Well, guys, we're probably going to finish up just a little bit more here. If anybody wants to comment, we just want to reflect with you guys. If you want to hit us in the comments about things that you thought about, maybe some lessons that you've learned, maybe some situations you've had in your life, and what you can continue to improve on and things like that. As we're talking about that, or maybe if you guys want to just kind of comment down there, type. We just want to revisit the quote again and say that, again, the quote for this week was, sometimes in life, your situation will keep repeating itself until you learn your lesson. Let me read that one more time. Sometimes in life, your situation will keep repeating itself until you learn your lesson. So that's a wonderful thing of advice, just to kind of give you guys just something to think about for a new challenge for next week. Next week's topic is overcoming a challenge. That's what we're looking at. We got another really special guest. Her name is Breezy. She's going to be on the show. So it's going to be just a wonderful thing like it was tonight with Brooke. And I appreciate you guys so much for just taking the time and the effort to come over here. I know a lot of different things are going on. They got contests and we got other people streaming and things like that. But again, just wanted to take the time and thank you guys for supporting what we're trying to do each and every week. We're always going to have a different topic. We're always going to have a different guest. And we're always going to continue to try to bring wonderful content to all the amazing people and friends and just the fellowship and the family on here, and just try to offer something different. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and everybody kind of, wants to carve their own niche and things like that. But, this is what I'm trying to bring to the table. And I feel very appreciative and blessed to have so many wonderful people that hopefully I can have on as guests, and for you guys to continue to be supportive and great to that. So, like I said, we finished a little bit early. Like I said, next week is going to be overcoming a challenge. Kind of want to just thank you, Brooke. I just kind of want to present that to you guys as a new challenge. Next week, we'll try to maybe touch on, this week of the lessons learned. And if anybody wants to continue to share, if anybody's interested to be on the show, please contact me or please contact my friend, the Pineapple Queen. You can message her on here. You can message me on here. And we'll try to set up, at some point, you guys to be on the show. So thank you so much, guys. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. If anybody wants anything that they want to add, please feel free to do it. I love it. Had such a great guest tonight. I was so proud of Brooke. She did a wonderful job. It was just such an honor and a privilege to have her on here. And yes, so sweating like a snow cone in Phoenix over here. Oh my gosh. Yes, thank you, Brooke. Stephen, everybody, NorCal, Blake, Beth, Twinsy J, everybody that was in here, thank you so much for taking the time. Melly, for coming by. I know the app was a little bit slow tonight, but Mondays can kind of be like that sometimes. But guys, thank you again so much. I appreciate that. Just to kind of give a quick little plug, just for a few more minutes. Twinsy, thank you, Texas. We've got some great, amazing content coming up. We have Blair Wood Show on Wednesday night. It's at 11 o'clock. It's called, what was it? Uncovering Paranormal. Is that right? I think it's something like that. Yeah, paranormal something. Yes. Blake's going to be the guest on it Wednesday night, guys. We also have Chris's show, Suited Up, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. He always has wonderful content. Also on Thursday nights, we got Love Quest with Blake and Dr. Morgan. We got that at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time as well. That has a lot of great content, a lot of different things that you can learn on that. We got Search for the Star. Yes, we got Hoops' show. We have so many other things, and I know I'm leaving something out. I know NorCal's trying to do some DJ battles. Sparkles is trying to get something together as well that she's doing on Thursday night. So there's so many wonderful things that so many different people are trying to bring to the app. So many different great shows. And I think that there's just so many wonderful people on here that can bring so much great content to the app that I think so many people would be, yes, proud of the diversity and the different personalities that so many different people have. So again, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I'm going to probably do a post-show stream here in a little bit. I'm going to actually change out of a sweaty shirt. And I just appreciate you guys being here. I love you guys so much. Thank you.